Thank you, President, and I want to thank everyone, especially the students, for having me be a commencement speaker. Never in the wildest dreams growing up would I think that I'd be in front of a crowd like this, being a commencement speaker. But I guess it goes to the idea, if you work hard and you live your dream, you can be anything you want to be. And so, I just want to thank the board, everyone who made this happen today. I did have the privilege of coming out here in the fall, speaking to the criminal justice, majors, and I really enjoyed that. Within the last month, I had a nice tour of Mount Ida. I got to look at all the neat little dogs. They had Bengal, beagles, and I went home and I told my wife, we got to adopt one of those beagles, I got a crazy mutt at home. Anyone want, I'll trade it for one of those beagles any day. But my wife likes her, so I keep her, right, Terry? So. And then I toured, I went over and looked at the dental school, and, that was pretty impressive to see everybody working so hard. And although I hate dentists, just kidding there, just kidding, but. And, then I went to the forensic lab and toured that, and, and I know I'd love to see more candidates, obviously when they leave here, do what they want to do, but, law enforcement's a noble profession. I started back in 1980 as a police cadet, and as President has said, I've been in this job really for 37 years, and, it's been a great job, a lot of challenges, and, I never thought or dreamed that I would be up here as the police commissioner leading 3,000 employees on our job, and they do a tremendous job every day. But obviously, I'm really... I'm really impressed that, the President told me 40% of this class are the first members of their family to come to college, and I think that's pretty impressive. But, I was a first-generation college kid myself, and a lot of you overcame a lot of obstacles like I did, and I want to commend you. I want to commend your family. It's quite an achievement. I grew up in South Boston, as the younger of 6 boys. My mom died when I was an infant. She left my father with 6 boys under the age of 11. Having 3 children myself now, I can't even dream of ever having 6 little boys running around the house, but he did his best to bring us up. But, I had the break of a lifetime, and I want that to be a learning lesson for everyone here. When a local Catholic priest named Father White came to my brothers when I was 14 years old and said, I'm worried about William. He says, he might go the wrong way. And he got me into a great school. And I always joke, I say, I didn't have the brains to get into St. Sebastian's, or did I have the money? But he was my savior. He was the guy that I think we all have to achieve, stepping into kids' lives and giving them an opportunity like I have. I went to that school. I took 3 buses there every day. I took 3 buses back. And that opportunity has really shaped my philosophy of policing, because, when I go around the streets and I do a lot of peace walks, I do a lot of youth police dialogues, we got ice cream trucks. We do so much to try to build respect with the community. One thing I learned is there's no such thing as a bad kid out there. Every kid's a good kid. There's just kids that don't have the opportunities that you have, that a lot of people have. And us as students, when you leave here, and us as adults, we got to step into these lives like Father Paul White did for me and make a difference. And, that's been a key part of my life. In coming up through the ranks, it made me a better guy, because I think that's changed my philosophy. And I like my officers to have that mindset. We're not about locking kids up. We're about lifting the kids up, getting them jobs, getting them opportunities. And I think we've really made a difference. Our crime rate continues to go down. and our arrests continue to go down, and we'll continue to work hard. This job has gotten so much more difficult since I've come on. We used to deal with crime, solely crime. Now we have to deal with terrorism. Everyone knows, and I know this class was just a freshman class when we had the Boston Marathon bombing back in 2013, April 15th. But that's a reality now. We deal with trying to build strong police-community relations, which we're continually working hard. We're out there doing the peace walks. Nothing bothers me more than seeing a young kid shot on the streets of the city. I stay awake at night worrying about it, and it's something we all have to work together to try to stop. I don't know what the magic potion is, but before I came here this afternoon, I had 2 young kids shot in Roxbury, and that's the stuff that ruins my day. So, together we have to work to reach out to these young kids in the city because they don't have a lot, and give them that opportunity. Another issue that's challenged for us now is the whole idea of the immigration. I want you to know one thing and one thing only. The Boston police aren't the immigration police and will never be the immigration police. My grandparents came over here from Ireland. I think we all came from immigrant families, and we're going to continue to work trust and with respect with our communities. Just last Friday, we had a youth police dialogue with a bunch of Somalian kids in Roxbury. And that's what we're all about, working with communities to make this community safer, to make it stronger. And so, if anything I want you to leave here with is, make sure you go out when you leave here and make a difference in a young kid's life. I have my offices now. We have a program called Bigs in Blue, where I have my offices, big brothers and big sisters, to a lot of the young kids in the audience, in the community, I'm sorry. And that's important. Not only does it build trust, but it gets that kid out of the community, gets them to get out on a boat. I see some of these kids, they really don't have a prayer. And they weren't born into basically, an unfair deck. They live it every day, and I see it. So we got to make a difference. One other really thing I want you to do also is be passionate about what you do. I've been in this job for 37 years, and I've always said, I have not gotten up one day where I haven't want to go to work. I love this job, and you should love whatever you do. I don't know if I want to be a funeral director like Dave here. I don't know if I want him to handle my body. Although I probably get a discount, there's not much to me. So you got to be passionate about what you do. It's not all about the money. I see a lot of people out there working with the homeless, with the opiate addicted, which we all know is a terrible, epidemic going around our city. The social workers working with the families that have some problems. It isn't about the money. It's about what you want to do. It's what your passion is. Number 2 is, and I always say, is stay healthy. A big part of my life has been running, as the president says. I've done 52 marathons, and people say to me all the time, how do you do it? How do you do that job? And I always say, as long as I get up in the morning, and I do every morning at 4:45, and get my run in, there's nothing I can't achieve. So it's important that you stay healthy, both mentally and physically. Obviously, stay in the books. That's got me where I am. I continually take courses. I just came back from Monterey, where I went to a Homeland Security school. Always keep your education going. And lastly, and most important, I want to thank the families behind you. They're the most important thing you have in this world. You know, when you leave here, they're the ones that you're going to always rely on. And I see too many times in this job, families being torn apart. You know, make sure that you don't forget where you came from. You know, my 4 older brothers brought me up. We're still real close. I'll always appreciate what they did, and I want you to appreciate it. You know, tomorrow's a very special day, obviously. It's Mother's Day. I want to thank all the mothers who are here. I always remember a song when I was growing up. It was done by the Intruders. It's probably past your time, but it was always about, and it was one of my favorite songs. Even though I didn't know my mom, it was, I'll always love my mama. She's my favorite girl. You know, I'll always love my mama. She brought me in the world. You only get one, you only get one. So the most parting thing I want you to remember is, don't forget your family, don't forget your mother, and I wish you all the best of success. And don't get in trouble, all right? I don't want to see any of this. Good luck, good luck. Good.